On this episode of Tiger Vision, we visit a bakery that blends French, German, and Japanese pastries, get spooked on a late-night tour of Boston, and tune into Carson Kennedy for storytelling advice. These stories and more on this month's episode of Tiger Vision.
Hello, I'm Michael Bickfeld.
And I'm Myra Binowitz. Welcome to the first Tiger Vision episode of the 2018-2019 school year. Tiger Vision is produced right here at Newton North by TV Media Arts students.
With each episode, we aim to bring you the best stories from around our area that spark interest in the Newton North community.
First, we take a plunge at the Charles River to learn more about rowing. Teddy Walsh and Miles Stern report.
What is rowing? Most people don't know much about it. We sat down with some student athletes at Boston's own Community Rowing Inc. to find out more about the sport.
People always have follow-up questions. It's like, oh, you play baseball? Yeah, okay. That's end of conversation. Whereas rowing, it's like, oh, you row? What is that? What's like, how does it work? And what are your races like?
A lot of it is about your own mentality, your own physical ability, your own technique in a way, but at the same time, you're rowing in a boat with 7 other people. I think it's just a really unique way of combining both an individual and a team sport.
I think rowing is very special because it's a unique sport in that you get to look backwards and appreciate what you've passed already rather than in any other sport where you're looking forwards. And to me, that has a special kind of feeling where the past is almost more important than where you're going.
Rowing takes dedication and effort. Whether the boat has 1, 2, 4, or 8 people, it requires strength and endurance to push through the water.
Like, some people are like, oh, rowing? That's really hard. Like, kids at my school will be like, oh, you row? You have to go out in the rain? Yeah, I have to go out in the rain, but it's fun. It's always fun.
Rowing down a river is much harder than it sounds.
Every day. Okay, you're curled like this, so sit taller.
But even through the blisters and bruises, people still find themselves coming back.
I come here every day. We spend 2 hours here, and it's really a good community that we are able to bond and row together.
It's definitely a great way to balance out everything that I have going on at school and just in my life in general.
People should row. Like, it's a lot of fun. It's something they should try out at least once. I think more people will like it than they expect.
Through our busy lives in high school, we're constantly moving forward, but rowing's a unique opportunity to look backwards. For NNTV, this is Teddy Walsh and Miles Stern, signing off.
Thanks, guys. If you're interested in knowing more, head down to Community Rowing.
Up next, Kieran Weisfellner and Nick Fusil take us to Newton's own community farm to let us know what happened there this fall.
When you think of Newton, you probably think of suburban neighborhoods, bustling city centers, and the general small town city life. But did you know Newton actually has a community farm? Not only do they grow fresh vegetables for the city, but they also host an annual fall festival to reach out to the community. We talked to the executive director, Kara Novikowski, to learn more.
The Farm Festival was started as a way to bring community members onto the farm.
Once you get into the farm, there are plenty of fun activities to do with the whole family.
Decorating our scarecrows, pumpkin decorating. We have wonderful fresh food made by the Newton South students and John Oren. We have apple cider.
Oh my God, it's so good.
And really just a day of enjoying live music from Julia Priest and Music Together and the High Strung Strummers. And then we'll also be featuring 3 mini classes of our popular Farm Sprouts activities led by our education director, Reva Hasselhorn.
While most come to the fall festival for the activities they offer, you can also learn a lot about the farm and its history while you're there.
So since 2006, we've been a nonprofit farm that has both a CSA and education programs. We are predominantly a vegetable farm. We have chickens. Right now we have a small flock of chickens because we just rebuilt our chicken coop.
The Fall Festival at Newton Community Farms is a great way to kick off the new season with friends, family, and even pets. For more information, go to newtoncommunityfarm.org or go on Facebook or Instagram, both at Newton Community Farm.
For NNTV, this is Karen Weisfeldner signing out. Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy?
Thanks, Kieran and Nick. Make sure to head over to Oak Hill to check out Newton Community Farm this fall.
Now, we head to Cocoa Bakery, where we learn about one baker who needs together her Japanese, French, and German skills. Maya Matthews and Maya Rabinowitz report.
For many people growing up, we decide what we want to do for the rest of our lives in school and in college. But Nobuko Maruyama, the owner of the Cocoa Bakery in Newton, a unique bakery which combines Japanese, European, and American baking, found her passion in a non-traditional way.
I've never been culinary school. I used to be an accountant. I realized I don't like the desk work. I was thinking what I want to do. It was making a bread, especially baguette. I really like baguette.
Nobuko took advantage of her newfound passion baking and used it to see the world.
Well, I was working at the bakery in Japan for 5 years, and then I wanted to see other country. In Boston, was looking for the young baker, and I applied.
Even though Nobuko moved away from Japan, she found a way to preserve the culture in her kitchen.
In Japan, the bakery is almost same style as mine. But in the United States, not so many this type of bakery.
And in her kitchen, Nobuko takes traditional Japanese pastries and puts her own unique twist on them, incorporating Japanese, American, and European techniques.
I used to work at the Boston Harbor Hotel, and I made a lot of creme brulee. And then, why don't we make a creme brulee butter and soak in a bread? Now, this is the most popular item in a bakery.
Her unique pastries and homey atmosphere in the bakery keep people coming back time and again.
I have to come not just for the goodies, but because these people are so sweet.
Out of 5 stars, we'll give her 6.
So if you want to stop by and try one of these delicious pastries and say hi to a friend of Newton's, stop by Cocoa Bakery on California Street. Reporting for NNTV, this is Maya Rabinowitz signing off.
Thanks, Myers. Just watching that piece made me hungry.
In the spirit of Halloween, we took a look at the spookier side of Boston. Caitlin Agnew and Jaden Prince report.
What I am going to do is I have this noose. I am going to put your head inside of this noose, and I am going to pull until you drop dead.
Halloween is fast approaching, and what's scarier than learning the sinister history of the city you live in? Ghosts and Gravestones gives you an inside look into the darker side of Boston.
Old Town Trolley has been in Boston since 1984. Unlike any of the other tours that you can take in Boston, you actually get to go into the cemeteries at night. Now we have a guided actor who will be with you for your tour, interacting with you, telling you about murders, hauntings, mysteries. Hear about Paul Revere and Dr. Joseph Warren. There's a book made entirely of human skin, and then you actually get out of the trolley 2 times and go inside 2 of the oldest burying grounds in the country.
The trolley rides, like the graveyards, are just as spooky, with actors making the trip interactive and entertaining.
When I had to write over and over, died of old age. One day I couldn't take it anymore. I saw an old man working on a house, and all I kept thinking was died of old age. That wasn't good enough for him. I gave him a better ending.
You don't really realize what the space is because you're just kind of sitting there on a bus, and then suddenly it becomes this entire stage where somebody is right up in your face and acting. But then, you go inside graveyards where you get kind of like the spooky vibe, but it's kind of lighthearted and fun at the same time.
Way over there. And we're gonna get the hell out of here.
Horror, rather than being the main element, is used to bring out the dark heart of Boston.
there's also that option that people just want to be scared. They want to do something scary. And sometimes people want to be able to bring family members that aren't into the haunted house. They don't want the jump scares. They want something that they can learn something from.
Ghosts and Gravestones not only allows you to interact with Boston, but the actors themselves.
When I get to have one-on-one conversations, people ask me questions that they think that they're going to stump me on or something like that, that I've heard a million times before, and I get to just whip out a funny anecdote.
The interactions you have along the tour provides a unique alternative to the average haunted house.
It's a really cool thing if you want to do something that isn't normal per se, you know, it's something that's a little bit out there that people tend to really enjoy.
Whether you come for the macabre history lesson or the ominous atmosphere, Ghosts and Gravestones make sure you leave with a new way to view the city of Boston. Reporting for NNTV, I'm Caitlin Agnew, signing off.
Thanks, Caitlin and Jaden. Ghosts and Gravestones tours are $10 off this November.
Finally, Nicholas Quintana and Alex Weim will sit down with Carson Tago of Mix 104.1 to figure out why he loves his Kuyo.
It's Carson Kennedy on Mix 104.1. Also quickly want to say hello to everybody from Newton North High School. We actually have a couple of students from Newton North in studio this morning.
Yeah, they're like, we want to follow a garbage radio show and highlight their faults.
Carson and Kennedy's morning talk show is anything but garbage, and they've been keeping commuters entertained with stories, fun, and games for over 16 years and counting. But behind every talk show, there's a host. So I sat down with co-host Carson Tager from Carson and Kennedy to hear his story about what inspired him to get into radio.
I was a kid that moved around a lot, so because of my mom's career and just happenstance in life, we moved a lot. I went to 13 different schools from 1st to 12th grade, and what became my friend was the radio, and I would keep it under my pillow, and when I would go to bed at night I would turn it up just enough so that I could hear it through my pillow. So even though I was moving all the time, I had the radio as kind of my friend. And so as I got a little bit older, I was like, wow, there might be a career there.
Carson's career as a radio show host has its perks, and he told me about some of his favorites.
You get to do really cool stuff, and you get to meet a lot of creative people. What does John Mayer think about when he writes a song? What does Charlie Puth do when he sits down at a keyboard? You know, getting to pick the brains of these creative people and get to know them on a personal level and how they do that, that's a big perk of the job too.
But for Carson, there's an even better perk of his job.
I'd say one of the best perks for me personally is the time of day that we work, and my day is usually done, you know, middle of the afternoon. So I get to be there every afternoon to pick up my son from school. You know, I get to take him to practices. I get to spend a lot of time with him.
Before we wrapped up the interview, Carson gave us one last piece of advice for anyone aspiring to join this industry.
Find your voice, I think also. That was one of the hardest things for me. I didn't learn that until I was older. I didn't really know who I was. Maybe that goes back to moving around a lot and I couldn't quite figure it out. But I know who I am. You know, I'm a dad, I'm a veteran. You know, I'm a husband, I'm a family guy. So that would be my advice. Learn how to tell stories and figure out who you are and how your story applies to the story you're telling.
Reporting for NNTV, this is Nicholas Quintana and Alex Weimer signing off.
Thanks guys. Be sure to tune in to Carson and Kennedy on Mix 104.1 for your morning commute.
Stories are everywhere and they need to be told, and we'd love to hear from you. If you have a story idea, feel free to email us at newtonnorthtv@gmail.com. You can also hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram.
That wraps up this episode of Tiger Vision.
Thanks for tuning in.
And we'll see you next time.